Hey,
Hey,
everybody. Here we are. We have a very special guest tonight. I'll bring her up here in just a minute. Um I met her at the Paracon, and I I fell in love with her the first time I met her. And we've been close ever since. We call each other, we talk to each other, and we'll talk about something that she's going to have me do for her. But I want her to be up here when we do it. And how is my Kandi?
amazing. How about you?
Amazing.
We're getting ready for a big run of events and stuff. Well, not events, investigations and things.
Yes, we are. We have two, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Mhm.
And it's going to be fun.
Three. Three.
Oh, that's right. Three.
Three.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, we'll
Bald,
take it, right?
a bald moment. Sorry, I have those every once in a while.
I hope I don't have any of them.
I hope you don't either. I'm about ready to draw those three Homer Simpson hairs over the top of my head.
I can pull three out. I can spare three.
Joy does says the same thing, but I don't think I'd look good as a redhead. So,
I think we'll give
any,
you something like blue.
oh yeah, yeah, there you go. That'd be all right. So, anyway, we're back, everybody. A fantastic guest. I can't say enough about her. Because I'd take up the whole show, and then you wouldn't be able to see her. So, so
So let's bring
anyway,
her up.
yes, let's bring Latrina up, please. Hi, Latrina.
Hey, hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. How about
Fantastic.
you?
Good. I've got my flag here in the background. I'm just, showing my colors.
Yay.
I am so honored to have you here.
I'm happy to be here. I really enjoyed meeting you and being able to investigate with you. And we even had a quick excursion. I had my paranormal team and a good bit of my students. We all did an
Yes.
investigation together. It was a big deal. I don't know if I told you, but the client contacted us, and the baby's been born, and she is 3 weeks
Oh,
early, but everything is just like you said it would be. She's completely fine,
good.
Yay.
absolutely beautiful. So we had to clear a place because a new baby was coming on board, and we didn't want the baby in any kind of danger and there was a lot
That's
to be reckoned
awesome.
with. So
Yes, there
I took
was.
part of it. Rex took a good part. I call him T Rex because he's super tall.
Yep, yep.
I'll
Yeah,
take that.
I love it.
You got short
Love it.
arms, Rex? There we go.
It's hard. I want to get a drink, but I have to actually bend over because I can't pick it up.
I love it. So, can
Can
you
we
tell
talk?
everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
sure, absolutely. Well, I'm a shaman, and I'm fifth generation. Well, I'm fourth generation. My granddaughter's fifth. I've got so much to tell you about that, Rex. I've got so much to tell you.
Oh,
So much has
fantastic.
happened since that. It's just when children start showing their gifts and
Mhm.
family members acknowledge it, it's just a beautiful thing. But that's a sidebar. I'll tell you more about that just a little later. But so I've been 4 generations, and I've been doing this my whole life. Luckily, I had my mom and grandmother to help me, and my dad, my husband. It's been a family affair, big time. I wrote a book called Family Spirit: Four Generations, Four Generations Origins of Supernatural. There it is. It's a long title. I should have shortened it, but it was, it's a big one, and it's my great grandmother and grandmother's investigations where we revisit and do them in modern technology and
Oh,
basically what they experience compared to what we do. And it's a big thing to look back at what they did because I thought, what they did was so phenomenal. We'll never be able to touch it. Truth is, we were able to, collaborate with my grandma before she passed, and we were able to show that what they got and what we got was very, very similar.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
Very, very similar. And they were using the old antiquated ways of doing it. So, yeah, I was very, it's a wonderful thing to have experienced. My
I actually did.
grandmother, my
Oh, go ahead.
grandmother was 98 when she passed, and
Oh,
she passed in October. So it was really hard on me.
oh,
And
I bet.
yeah, because she was my mom and our best friend, mine and my mom's best friend.
Mhm.
And so Microsoft Office, when you go into Word, the newer version, it has a talk to text type of ability.
Mhm.
So we would be at dinner and I would hit the microphone button and my grandma would speak and it was typing everything she was saying.
Oh,
Oh,
So
man.
I
nice.
got a lot of things straight from her. So
Great.
yeah.
Awesome.
So that's what I've been up to. I wrote that book and then Parapsychology 101, and it's about your journey into the unexplained. And I teach at Piedmont Technical College, and so we've got students there, and it's just been a lot of fun. Between that and filming Repossessed was a big thing, and it came out on Hulu not long ago, and it hasn't been released in Canada yet. It will be released in probably early 2024, is what we were told, and it's the Canadian History Channel.
Nice.
So there's some things I can talk about and some that I can't about it. But yeah, it seems weird because we can see it, but Hulu's not in Canada. It's only in the United States and Japan.
Oh, wow. So tell
Yeah,
us a
I
little bit
can,
about that. Like, do you have any of the objects? Or
yeah,
what did you do with them once you
that's one.
Oh, beautiful.
Hmm.
So can you tell us the story behind that one?
Well, it was obtained by someone that was attracted to it. I'm going to have to be vague, just excuse
Yep,
me.
yep.
And she was attracted to it. She received it. She started having uh, physical rejection, like her body was rejecting wearing it. It was horrible. And
I didn't
she,
realize that.
yeah,
Oh,
she
no,
was
I'm sorry.
breaking.
I was reading what was put
Oh,
up there. I didn't know they didn't have Hulu in Europe.
no, they don't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Japan or China. Well, excuse me, I said Japan, but not China, not Australia, not Europe. Yeah, just United States and Japan. So
Wow.
yeah, that's why we're having the big release in Canada. So I'm really excited.
Oh, I'm
With the
excited for you.
History Channel, there's a lot of promotion that's going to be going on. So I'm excited to see how it does there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Me
because it's
too.
So
been
you were saying she got
incredible.
sick?
She got super sick. She broke out in whelps. A lot of problems. I don't want to go into a lot of because it'll
Yep.
tell it right away, and then that part will be ruined because it's a incredible story, a very sad situation for not just the lady that purchased this. So we were able to rectify it, and then she gave it to me.
I know what I'm watching tonight when we're done.
you, thank you. You'll
I've,
be
al-
able to see it in
I've
see
already seen it.
episode 2. Yes, you
I've already
have
seen it.
Episode 2.
episode
Yep.
2. I think it's episode 2.
I'm
Is
pretty
it?
sure it is.
Worst case
Yep.
scenario, I start at episode 1 and eventually I'll find it.
Now it's binge worthy. Once you get past 3, episode 3, it starts getting really scary.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
crazy
there's
stuff that happens.
Hey, I
there is.
love binge-worthy shows. They're my favorite.
Yeah, me too. I love to binge watch things. I mean, if I'm going to do it, I want to get engrossed in it and enjoy my time. And I won't
How
watch
did we
anything
do
else
it with
but that.
commercials? How did we do it when we had to go week and wait another week and wait another week? I let the seasons go and I just binge and watch everything all at once.
I love it. I've been doing The Mandalorian. I'm a
That's a good
big
one
Star
too.
Wars fan. And if you look at a lot of the things in Star Wars and even Harry Potter about dealing with the Force or with magic, um,
Hmm.
there's actually some stuff
Some
that's
truth
right
to
on the
it.
money. Yeah, I
Yes,
I
there is.
feel like people had to research it. Really
Yeah.
had
Hmm.
to research what is happening with magic. How does that work? I still think Harry Houdini might have had some abilities that we don't know about. Just saying,
Very
because
possible.
mhm. I follow that a little bit.
Mhm.
I love Houdini, and the fact that he was able to call out people that were having seances and doing all these fantastic things. He would find out how they were done and out them, and
Yes.
but then also would be able to collaborate when other people had actual hauntings. How would he know?
Right.
He had
Yeah.
abilities. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I want to say I had the privilege and the honor of meeting your mom too.
Yeah, she loves you.
I love her
She,
too.
oh, she loves. She could walk under his arm. Plus, she's a tiny little Asian lady.
Oh.
Yeah,
She's
she's not very
Iroquois,
big.
Iroquois and Filipino and German. So she's got a nasty temper.
I gave her a hug and she disappeared.
Yeah, she
Uh-oh.
just disappeared in there. We had a great time.
Yes, we did.
I
It
Now
feel
was
we
like,
got to get you to the Midwest.
oh, I would love it. I love the Midwest. Love it. I've been to Texas, I've been to Arizona, I've been to Colorado, but I was not able to stay for very long. I want to see more. I've been to, of course, California, flying into LA and stuff, but I'll
if
You got
you
to
never.
get
come to Iowa.
yeah. Oh, hi Scott. Scott Horn from Horn Paranormal's watching. I'm right here with
Hey,
you.
Scott. Um, oh, okay. Sweet snacks
Sweets
close
and
by,
snacks.
huh?
Yep.
So
Popcorn.
if you come this way, Leah, you don't even have to rent a hotel because
Oh,
the whole upstairs of my house is actually
It's
Candy's been there.
amazing.
It's like a little B
oh,
and B. So
Yeah.
oh, how nice.
Yeah.
yeah, you don't
Is
have
it
to spend
haunted?
any money. I'll even feed you, and I can cook too.
Ooh,
And we're
wow.
only an hour away, so we can come hang
Yeah.
out with you and we'll take her to the YMCA.
Oh gosh, yes.
Oh, it's haunted there?
Oh
The
yeah.
Haunted YMCA in Rock Island. It's
Oh,
probably
I've heard of it.
one of the most active places we've ever been. You can't go in there and not walk away with experiences.
Why
Hmm.
haven't I heard of it? I mean, I've heard of it, but why would I?
We've been trying to get it out there. I mean,
Hmm.
Iowa and right across into Rock Island have some amazing places that
Hmm.
should be out there but aren't. I mean, we mention them every time we're on a show or we do anything or we're anywhere. We try to get it out there
Maybe you
because
said something about it to me, but I recognize that. And I know a lot of people caught a lot of things.
You've heard
it's
of Al Capone.
Oh,
Al
yeah.
Capone is there. John Looney, he's a mobster that was there that
Yeah, I
Al
recognize
Capone
it.
was afraid of. Helen Van Dale, the madam, because it was a brothel, a speakeasy. A murderer lived there at the time he committed the murder.
yep,
What?
Little
Oh
boy
my gosh.
drowned.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, poor kid.
It's
So that's just the tip of the
yeah,
iceberg.
that's that's
So
Gosh.
the iceberg.
Well, every now and then I will have a spirit come to me and speak to me, and they'll give me a full, you know, like I call it a letter, and I just start writing. And I experienced that with Jack the Ripper.
Wow.
Yeah, he explained some things about why he did the things he did. Um, it was unbelievable.
Holy
I
smoke.
I had done a big show about him, and I was talking to a family member about him. And right after I got off the radio, I went to sleep, or tried to. And when I woke up, he was floating this far from me,
oh wow.
and I could hear his voice, and it was enchanting. It wasn't just because he was in spirit either. It was very hypnotic. So very crazy. But I wonder if I came there, would I hear from Al Capone? You know?
I bet you would.
I
My
bet you
my
would.
husband's a medium and on our team, and he hears from them. John Looney, ask Rex. Almost every time he's there, John Looney hops into him, and
Wow. Dang, I would love to see your husband, have that moment, and let's see if we could work together. You know,
that would be amazing.
I
That
think
would
it would be too. Ginger's wanting to come up and say hi. Say hey.
Hi, baby.
be.
Oh,
She's right here. She's like, oh gosh, people looking back at me. She's so shy. Oh, sorry. She was jumping and jumping. It was
Hey, you're
shaking the
Oh,
good.
that's
laptop.
okay.
But
Baby
I
Kitty will be in here pretty soon, wanting to be on camera. So
love cats. Love cats. So
he's.
I just thought it would be fun to do an experiment that way because
Oh yeah.
I've been asked by the Rhine Center to send in more data, and that would be a little bit like remote viewing. And I had done this like 10, 12 years ago, and the
Mhm.
documents were damaged. And so that's gone. And I would love to do it again.
I haven't got to talk to Rex yet because this just happened earlier today. Rex, I got a date booked in June. Let
Oh,
me get with you. Maybe we can get with you and we can set it up and give it a try.
that sounds
That'd
great
be,
to me. I would love that. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm silencing my
that's
phone.
okay. Baby
I,
Kitty.
I work 247. I'm sorry. What
No,
That's quite all right.
that's good. We know how that goes.
That's for sure.
Let's
And
see.
that's so cool because Legos. It'd be fun to try that experiment there. And Candy and I have come up with some really cool experiments at the Y.
Really? Oh
Uh
my
huh.
gosh. I want to
We
play.
could redo the let's redo the straitjacket one. We'll throw me in it with her and Derek both there
Oh
and
All
heck
you
yeah,
right.
running it.
yeah.
We did an experiment. Rex and I were trying to come up with one, and he had a straitjacket. And I said, what if we put guests in a straitjacket? You run the experiment because there was a lady, one of the ladies that was kept there and abused by the madam. She
Hmm.
was always chained up to the wall
And you
and
could
Oh,
still see
abused.
where the chains where it was.
Hmm.
poor thing.
So we put her in a straitjacket, and guests and everything watched her face morph. She got pulled out of the experiment, and we had to take her to a different room. And she was feeling the pains of a miscarriage, felt things run. Yeah, it was
Wow.
incredible that night.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
I did feel the pains of a miscarriage. There was House of Ill Repute, as we call it in the South, in Charleston, and I was staying there. There was a wedding I was attending, and I didn't realize how historic the building was. Beside of that hotel, the other building
Mhm.
beside of it caught fire, and Francis Marion, the swamp fox, was staying in the hotel I was in. And he actually told everybody, they went to him and said, "What do we do?" And he said, "Everybody get all the bedclothes off the beds, wet them down, and throw them over the building, and make sure you hang them." And the porches burned off, but nothing else caught fire.
Oh,
So
wow.
now here's the kicker: when the porches burned off the sides, when they rebuilt them, they built them higher. So now the apparitions that are seen from the street look like these spirits are walking on their knees, and it's because they're walking on the old porches.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So it was a crazy place, and I had some really cool experiences there. One of the ladies of the night, experienced a miscarriage. I think it was more like problems from an abortion,
Hmm.
and she died there. And she was still making the trips across, and I tried to interrupt because my curiosity was, is this residual or is this intellectual? I do think it's residual because I
Okay.
couldn't interrupt it.
Okay. Makes
But
sense.
it made me feel better knowing that she's not having miscarriages night after night, you know.
Hmm.
We had
Jeffrey, go ahead, Rex. You
yeah,
saw it too. Go.
yeah. Jeffrey said the Jack the Ripper night tour in London was an experience for him.
Oh wow. Jeffrey, can you just send a quick message of what you experienced? I didn't realize I was trying to read Jack the Ripper because there were questions that his maybe three greats, grandson had for him.
Oh, wow.
And we were trying to get to the bottom of it. And next thing I knew, there I was face to face with him. I didn't know I could call a spirit like that.
Right.
Maybe it's because it was him. you know,
Right.
because I was
Mhm.
actually not trying to judge what he did. Of course, we all know what he did was awful, awful,
Mhm.
awful, and heinous. But I was trying to figure out where was his mindset, what created the monster.
Right.
Mhm.
You'll be interested to know what I was told by the entity was that he was fascinated with how women can procreate, how life can come from that. And when he was working with, you know, bodies that had been donated to science, and he would dig bodies up and sell parts to science and things like that. He was fascinated by the female anatomy, trying to figure out where is the spark of life coming from. What about a woman can make this happen? And he was so reverent to it all.
Hey,
Um,
Brent. Nice to have you. I graduated high school with him.
cool.
He's fantastic.
Hey, Brent.
He
It
comes up
was,
with some great questions too.
oh, good. I hope he's
He
going to
does.
stay with us. I want to hear what he's got to say. So, what he came out with was that he was so enamored by a woman's anatomy and the ability to give life that women that were prostitutes, they were disrespecting their ability that God gave them. So he didn't see that they were worth anything, and he wanted to figure out a fountain of youth. So his plan was he had to have a woman to be able to see this thing. He wanted her to be in pain because that would also give adrenaline. You know that whole scandal about adrenochrome, whether it's real or not? Well, he
Mhm.
Hmm.
was trying to make it back then.
Wow.
And it
Yeah.
makes sense whenever he said it. These women are blasphemous to their ability to create a life. They don't deserve the ability in his mind, so therefore he took it.
Wow.
I'm sorry, that's a nasty bit of information, but
Nah.
wow, wow,
Yep.
wow.
Jeffrey
Um,
actually said it was very chilling hearing all of the noise from old London cobblestone, that it was something else.
Oh, I'm sure. Um, Rex, um, Rex, you were in Abbeville. Now, they're not cobblestone. Actual cobblestones are round stones. These were brick,
Rick.
but
Yep.
they make a sound too. And I was doing an investigation of the Opera House, the Abbeville Opera House, and we could hear a carriage click, 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 like a horse-drawn carriage outside when we were waiting to go in. It was really crazy that we were getting evidence out there on the
Right.
street.
Um,
Linda's got a comment for Leah about her book.
Oh, oh, thank you. Oh, you got the book. I'm so thankful. So, Linda, what is your favorite story? I don't know if you've had a chance to read it all. I will say this: if you read Bloody Thursday, you'll see why I married my husband. He, the story about Bloody Thursday is a very sad one. It's
Do
not
you have
about.
a picture of the book or anything that we can bring up so people can see what
I
we're referring to?
Here, let me send it over
Could you
for
or
you.
Dave possibly pull one up off of the web?
yeah, she's gonna
Yeah,
send one over.
let me send it right to you. But what happened at the location I was actually in a haunted home that I bought, and it was more than what I could deal with, to be honest, because I had my daughter and she was only 2 when I bought the house. And yeah, I was pretty nervous. And then when I met my husband, he had lived in an extremely violent haunted house, haunted home.
Wow.
And so, this was old hat to him. He had it. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Um,
Now
Don
I
had
got to buy a book.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's on my list. Don asked Rex, you and the team should investigate the old basements and you must be in tunnels under the part of the Independence that burned down. I know the lady that's in charge of the historical society in Independence,
Mhm.
so I'm trying to get with her so just us, the team, will go down,
Mhm.
not with a tour or anything like that. let us
Well,
go down and do that. So,
that would be awesome. Hey,
and
Brent.
Frank Culberson, hey, good to have you here.
Oh, and Linda just commented. She's got the story. Let's see. It says, I'm still sorting all the characters. Having all that support is like reading about paradise for a person who's totally unsupported growing up. Love your
Yeah,
book.
she's absolutely right. I wanted to write that book because I wanted to make sure that my grandchildren would know my grandmother and that this would continue on. So it was really important for me to write it after my husband and I had lived it with her. And my husband and I have been married 25 years, and I had cancer there towards the beginning. I got married and bam, I found out I had cancer. So it could have been a really bad situation. But that's why we were all together. We were being traditional, having our house, they had theirs and whatnot. But I had a commute back and forth to my job at the time. And I decided to stay with them because it was too much for me to drive and work while I was going through treatments.
Right.
And we liked it. We wanted to stay. So we rented the house we had and moved in with them. And then we bought the house next door. And then we bought another house next door to that. So we just made our own little tribe. My son lives next door with his fiance, and my daughter she lives at 125. My son's 215, and I'm 219.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're
Rex,
just
do
going
you
to
got
keep
that
going.
picture?
Sure.
Did you get it?
I don't
Oh,
know.
here, hold on. I'm going to send it to you.
To
Okay.
me
Because
or Candy?
I'm going to send it to Candy. Well,
Okay.
Okay.
because I'm locked out real of social media at this moment because I had to change my password, and now it's forcing me. I don't remember what it was.
It's forcing you to prove who you say you are, right?
Yep, and it's wanting me to get a text to my phone, and
I'll catch up with you on the replay. Nice to meet you, Latrina and Rex and Candy. Best of show. Thank you very much,
oh,
Linda.
how
Thank
nice!
you.
Thank you, Linda.
And
So she's
Jeffrey has a question,
uh-huh.
or
Oh, good.
he says, "When I move, we should bring someone of you over to do my house."
Oh, I'd love that.
I'm there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I'll be there.
Where are you moving to?
He won't say.
So those are the two books. I just emailed you both.
Okay.
I
Got
need
one over to him.
your web address, Lee, and then I can put you on my author page, on our author page on our website.
Oh, good.
And then all they have to do is click your name, and it'll take right where you can get. There we go.
And the other one is coming here in a second, so they should have it.
Cool.
Arizona. I'm actually going there in July.
Yep.
My husband was there for school.
Nice. Brent
He
Dawson
loves
said
it.
he had a paranormal experience in Owine, spending the night above a bar on Main Street on New Year's Eve. Rex, you should check out some of the apartments, motels above the businesses in Owine.
Oh,
I will definitely reach out to the city and see what they say.
that
I
would
think I've
be.
lived here long enough. Well, plus I know a lot of people here now, and I think we should be able to get in there and
That would be
into
smart.
something anyway. I got into the old. Oh shoot! It's only 2 blocks from my house. The oh son of a gun! I
It'll
can't.
come back to you. It's
Yeah,
so
it will.
painful. It's
I'm
so
having
painful
another
when that
12
happens. So we've got some really interesting things going on here. Well, first of all, I've got an incredible lineup for my radio show, and I would love to have you guys on.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I wanted to tell you who they are and some of the things because if you feel like, hey, that's my jam, I need to be there, then I could say, "Oh, sure, come on," it'd be great.
Absolutely.
Very
After I do
cool.
this, then I'm going to go about this in a different way. Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it.
Dave,
Okay,
did
so
you get those
I
pictures?
She sent them to me,
Oh, I sent them today. I sent them on to Dave already. He should
and Dave
have them.
it said books are uploaded in the chat there.
There
and
they
Dave,
are.
Oh, there it is.
yes, there we go.
Yeah. And notice the little bright lights. Those are spirits that come to you. Did you know that animal spirits are very different? Their souls are very different than just, like humans or other types of animals. They're so loyal that their souls can splinter and part of them can receive another animal's, it's just a small sliver or a whole hunk. Like, take for
Right.
instance, if you adopt a dog after you've had a lovely pet that you love dearly, there's a lot to go through when you lose a pet. It's very
Mhm.
close to losing a child, I think, especially if they've got a lot of intellect and they bond and snuggle and show you that kind of
Mhm.
trust and love. Nothing like it. I mean, it's incredible, and it's a horrible loss. So I adopted another dog, Ginger. Okay, after Merlin passed, he was a little Jack Russell. He was a male, and he was a senior dog when I adopted him. But I wanted to give him a great, and he did. He lived a great life. We took him everywhere, and really special little guy. Got me through a deployment when my husband was gone. It was just a lot. He did a lot for me, and I could swear I would hear his little footsteps on the hardwood floors, and I'd hear his little neck thing, dick it, dick it, dick it,
Mhm.
and I felt him jump on the bed a couple of times, and I felt the bed go down when he did jump on the edge of it, kind of a bump. Well, I ended up helping 67 dogs get placed in homes, being adopted. I just really
Wow.
meant that to be my way of a tribute to Merlin. Well, then
Right.
all of a sudden, we found Ginger. Well, she found us, I should say. I was doing an event for the Humane Society, and when I held her, that was it. I knew it. And she was the littlest, tiniest little one there, and all the other big dogs, big dogs, and
Mhm.
she was just cowering, very, very timid. And when we got her in the car and started holding her, oh gosh, she was so grateful. She was so grateful to be loved. And she wanted to sleep at the foot of the bed on top of all the covers, and she would scratch them together and make herself a nest. Merlin
Mhm.
slept under the covers at our feet, under the covers. I don't know how he didn't smother, but he could do it. Well, after we had her about 3 weeks, all of a sudden she decided she wanted to get under the covers, and she'd crawl all the way down to the bottom. And I don't know how, what created that. And she started doing some of the same things, like he would twirl around, and then he'd stop and sit up like that, wanting a treat. She started doing that, and I hadn't taught her that. Just little things that would be how he would look at me because he would have the puppy dog eyes. She does that.
Oh.
She never did that before. She was just too cute and prissy. But now she does, just similar personality traits. It
Do you think
happens.
his spirit was there and kind of like if you bring two living animals together, they pick up each other's habits? Do you think he's still there and
It's either
kind of
that, but I had a pet psychic come on the show
uh-huh.
because I was looking
Cool.
some variety and I wanted to learn. And
Yeah.
when she said, "Oh, I should have told you, dogs, especially some cats, their souls will splinter." And I said, "So are you trying to make it into a Horcrux, kind of like Harry Potter?" She said, "No, because that's an object, right? This is
Mhm.
actually sharing another animal's. They could
That makes
be,
me feel so much better.
and they live together, and they're completely fine because their loyalty to you is what brings them together."
Oh, I love that.
Because I can still hear Duke. I can feel. I'll be sitting there drawing, and I can feel his tail thumping my leg,
Mhm.
or I can hear him walking across the hardwood floor.
Yeah. Um, Google my name, and whenever you see the YouTube channel pop up, now don't judge because I was not a YouTube sensation or anything. I just whatever I've got on film, whatever on recording, I'd sling it out there so people could see it. And you'll see a couple of things about animals. One, there was a lady, bless her heart, the whole family had passed. The whole house was full of families. Okay,
Mhm.
the man married the lady. Okay, and they only spoke Latin in the house. That's how smart they were. They spoke
Oh.
Latin so that they could
Wow.
speak other languages. He was the one who wrote the paperwork where the South seceded from the Union. Their house was on the National Historic Register. He took those documents to Abbeville, South Carolina, and you probably went right by there, Rex. And the I can't remember the name of the mansion that's there, but it's a big one. And so you can just, he took it there, and that's where everybody signed it, and that's where the South succeeded from the Union. So it was a big to do to be able to investigate that house. When we went through, we said, "Is there anybody here? Or any family members here? Are there any
Mhm.
spirits?" And the response was throughout. And the whole family was there. Well, the lady, her name was Mary, that lived there. This was actually on my ghost story caught on camera. I filmed that in Los Angeles, and it's called,
I've seen that.
this episode is Nine Lives, Husbands, Wives.
Yep,
Well, she
I've
was
seen
by
that one.
herself. Her name was Rose. What am I? Rose Marie, not Mary. It was Rose
Oh my
Marie, and
gosh,
she
that
went
was
by
my mother's
Rose.
name.
Well, she went from being a prima ballerina and teaching social dance classes and stuff like that to being a crazy cat lady. Her vision started going, and she stayed in the house all the time. She thought she was allergic to sun, which she may have been, but back then nobody knew. And she had like 60 some odd cats, and she built a little. She had the wall. The wall was cut out where the cats could come through, and they had their own patio, and they had their own fans and everything. And
Wow.
so we were investigating, and I was like, did I walk through a spider web right when I came in the door? And we got pictures of little orbs around her ankles, and it was the cats. It was the cats. And then we have pictures looking through a French door, and you could see all their little ears and their little heads, and right where their heart would be was an orb. Now, I'm not a great orb person, but there was nothing else
Mhm.
out there, and it was enclosed now. So there's not anything. It's winter, you know.
Mhm.
So, well, it wasn't quite winter, it was more like fall. But still, we got, and then we heard something jump on the bed. Our cameras got bumped. Something disconnected our stuff. It was the cats monkeying around with everything. So
Brent
they were,
has another question for you.
yeah, yeah. Traits of the cat who was here. Yes.
And where can I
Oh,
get
you
one of
can.
your books?
Okay, my books are on Amazon. If you want to go to my website, it's familyspirit.net, and you can just send me a message that way, and I can sign it and send it to you. You can just cash at me, that would be fine. But Amazon, if you have Amazon Prime, you don't have to pay for shipping or anything, so that's probably the easier way to go. And yeah, both are on there. Books a Million, Barnes and Noble. It's on. Just Google my name; it'll pop up for you. And thank you for wanting to read it. I think you'll love it.
Because I'm going to get it from you because I think
Mhm.
Amazon takes too much of your money, and I want
It
mine
does.
signed.
Oh,
And
cool.
I want it
Thank you.
signed. Yeah. Got to get it
Thanks.
directly from the source. Can Dave or Luke, can you put the link to her website in the comments so that viewers can actually just click on it?
There's a link to both on the website. Probably to the books. I think she was thinking about my
Yeah.
website. It's called familyspirit.net because my Family Spirit series, I've got the first book out of five. Five, but there's so
That's
much more to
great.
come. The next one is going to be
There we go. Thank you
There we
guys.
go. Thank you, guys.
Family Spirit, a journey with crypts and cryptids. Because my dad wrestled alligators for Tarzan movies, and he
Sweet.
took me on Bigfoot hunts when I was little.
Oh, nice.
And we would just go
How'd
out
that
in the,
go?
oh, it was,
That's
woo,
Love that.
freaking like one of my favorite clips of this year so far. That
Yeah,
that face.
exactly. That was fabulous.
It was crazy. Um, they stink. Uh,
Bigfoot stink.
oh yeah, they stink. And I knew that the men in the lab had been going out because there's also a survival group. When I was little, my dad worked for Ross Allen in the Reptile Institute in Silver Springs, Florida. So I would live here in South Carolina through school time, and in the summer we would go there. And sometimes we'd go more than 2 or 3 times a summer. Sometimes we'd stay the whole summer. So here I am, only girl amongst 6 boys, that there are other children of the other people that were working at the institute, and I was not going to be outdone by any of these guys. I could climb a tree as fast, and I got into a lot of trouble because I was
Uh-oh.
doing stuff that my mom was like, "Ah, what are you doing?" But so my dad was studying languages of alligators, and
Interesting.
I was learning the different cries and the calls and things like that. Um, I know that when alligators are close to each other and it's time for them to pick a mate, however that works, I don't think it's season. I don't remember if it's seasonal or not, but they blow bubbles around each other's face. Kind of like, I guess
Oh,
that would
wow.
be their only way of being able to kiss. I can't. I don't know, but that's what they do. Now, when they bellow, it's more of a ah, kind of a sound. But then
Mhm.
the baby alligators, they sound like, let's see if I can do it because I hadn't done this in 20 years. Ah, 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 ah. And
Oh, I
sometimes it
love
would,
it.
ah, ah. That was more of a crocodile sound. And I was able to do it really loud because I knew I was going out on a hunt and we were going to be getting the babies. My job was
Mhm.
going to be to get in the tree and call the moms to me, and then they would get the eggs and stuff, and then they would, you know, and then I would get down. Okay. Well, I was practicing and practicing and trying to get the distinction between them, and everything was sounding the same to me. While I called an alligator to me, I got in big trouble.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, it was bad. Not just for me in danger, but for my dad and his belt. I was in big trouble. Well, I didn't know it, but I got the attention of a juvenile Sasquatch, and we were staying in a camper right on the
Wow.
edge of the swamp. And it went to hell after that. It just went to hell. The whole thing just went to hell. I lived through it. It started out so sweet. I was laying on my bed and we cranked the windows open. They opened kind of like a little vertical blind, like that.
Mhm.
And the wind was blowing across my bed. And I reached backwards and I was playing with the screen and just kind of scratching the screen, listening to the sound. And I was still doing the call a little bit. Mom had sent me out of the camper to do the call because she was sick of hearing it. I had just worn it out, right? Well, here I am doing it. She's like, I can hear you. You have got to. Finally, she turned the radio on. Well, the juvenile Sasquatch came out, and I had my hand, upside down, and I was and
Mhm.
looking, and his little hand came up, and he put his hand on mine, and he had long black hair coming out of his knuckles, okay, and his hand looked just like mine. It was the same size as mine. Um, I was about 9, maybe 10, and his hand was the same. I was noticing our hands were the same, and he had places in his flesh there on his little palm of his hand that was pink like ours, but then it was black. You know how puppy dogs can have the pink and the black, so
Mhm.
just like that. But
Oh,
his
wow.
nails, oh Lord, his nails look, black dirt and everything. But I mean, what would you be if you lived in the swamp? I mean, look at him coming out of Naked and Afraid on television. They're
Yeah.
filthy. So
Mhm.
and then the wind changed and I could smell him.
Uh-oh.
Oh God. And it kind of, I just pulled my hand back and he bumped and I put my hand back up there. Well, now he doesn't want me to take it back down. So he's trying to grab my hand through the screen. And then the wind blew again and mom saw his hand and wah! And here we go. So we had to roll the windows up real quick and she's hanging on to me. And oh my God, what are we going to do? And we're screaming. And then we got real quiet. Mom put her hand over my mouth, and I had to put mine over hers because she was screaming like me. And every time he would bump the camper, and this was a tiny camper, no AC, so we're dying in this sardine can. He'd bump it, and we would scream. And then we would stop, and then he'd bump it again, and it would scream. And Mom said, "Oh my God, we're a squeak toy! Stop moving! Stop
I love
screaming!" So we finally made it into the bathroom, which I'm surprised we didn't fall through the floor because it was real tiny. I mean, when you sat down on the commode, your knees were at the door. It's a tiny one. And finally, we heard the mother show up, and I was like, "Oh my God, we're dead." Well, Mom had locked the door. I was like, "That ain't gonna do nothing." And she was like, "Be quiet, be quiet." And so we heard her, and she was trying to pull the juvenile away, and he didn't want to go. He started trying to open the door. He wanted to
Oh,
play.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Mom, if he opens the door, I'm going to go out and play with him because I can get him to stop." Because I had been training on how to quote outsmart animals because they have intellect. I was being told by the Seminoles how certain animals have certain intelligence and
Mm-hmm.
how you could, like with alligators. If you watch the Gator Boys, they were trained like I was, especially the youngest one. He was trained by the Seminole because I met him and he said, "I can't believe you knew that." And I said, "Yeah, because I was trained like that." Oops, excuse me. I bumped the laptop. And so anyway, I was going to go out there. She's like, "No, you're not. You're not going out there." So it didn't come to that. She finally, the mama slapped the youngster silly, and I heard him cry. And she drug him, and he bumped the bumper, and he got his hair caught up in the license tag.
Oh wow.
When my dad showed back up, he had the walkie-talkie for us. I thought Mom was going to beat him to death with that walkie-talkie. She was beating him with the antenna, and so he used the walkie-talkie to report back what had happened. And they didn't believe it. They thought because everybody it was like a there had been reports, there had been sightings. They wanted to be the ones to use whatever science they had learned to be able to see it. And
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
here's a 9-year-old kid that, but see,
Was playing and
Ross had been telling me about this, and I've been practicing and the Seminoles have been teaching me. So I put it all together and poof, and I didn't get in trouble, but the folks with lab jackets showed up and took the blood that was on the side, and I said, "I'm not lying. Look at the big dents in the camper. Look."
mm-hmm.
So they got the plungers out of the bathroom, was pulling the dents out of the camper and taking the blood off of the license tag and everything. And
Wow.
I had to go clean. I was in big trouble because that was the summer they were having a powwow. And they told me if I didn't behave, they were going to tie me to one of the posts, and I'd have to beg people to bring me food because I wasn't going to behave. Because that's what they do. That was typical. If you were a little shit, they'd stick you on a post and teach you how to. All of a sudden, everybody's really important to you. If you want to eat, you want to get it loose to go to the bathroom, something like that, and make you think of others. Well, I didn't think I did anything that bad. I was just, how did I know that all that was going to happen?
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a whole lot more to all of that, and I probably shouldn't have told the ending, but it'll be in the book. Maybe somebody will buy it anyway.
Oh yeah, we'll be buying that one too. Brett says when you were making the alligator sounds, the dog was looking at his computer. Scott says what a scary situation.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
Brandon says hello.
hey, Brandon. Mom just walked in, and I'm on here with Rex. T Rex. She says, "Hey Rex," and I just told them about the camper and the Sasquatch. You were laughing. I was telling it the other day. I think might have been telling Brandon, and Mom said, "I can't believe that I think I had blocked that out." She said, "I had forgotten that had happened." So I still have a ostrich story and an alligator story. His name was Tractor, and there's a
Nice.
big thing about that. So I'll give a few teasers. And then we investigated a little people legend that was inside of a cave on the reservation, and we got a response. So I think that's going to be a fun one to do too.
Mm-hmm.
Is you referring to the little peoples of what you're asking me to do for you?
Yeah,
Oh, because we can talk about it if you want to tell everybody about
that was it. Okay, so I've asked Rex to help me with something. I have a dear friend that's helping me as well. We're going to work together, the three of us. I have a friend who writes grants, and she's helping me. I hope I can get that international culture grant to be able to do this. If not, something else will come through. But I asked Rex to do the artwork for me. This is a book called The Little People and Other Legends of the Cherokee. And so, what I love about the Little People is that the stories of them, of these creatures or entities, I should say, they're more like angelic, but they're a
it.
little mischievous. So, they teach people a lesson, but they have healing powers. They have, but they're the size of a child. They're about the size of a 6-year-old child,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been seen. And they also told the Cherokee that a Messiah was coming. And then when the Cherokee heard about Jesus, they accepted him as the Messiah. And then when they heard how he was martyred, they cried so hard. The legend is their tears turned to stone, and their little crosses now all over Cherokee. You can see them in Oklahoma, on the Cherokee Trail that goes to Oklahoma from North Carolina. Some in Georgia, because the Cherokee Trail of Tears starts there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's all through there and in Jerusalem.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big deal, and there's a lot of stories about creation and other things about like a flood. The flood story is the exact same as in the Bible. So it's a cultural thing. And during
Mhm.
Y2K, during COVID 2020, the other catastrophe, 2020, the toilet paper epidemic.
Yeah, we can't talk about that.
No.
No, no. We'll get red flagged,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they'll pull us off. So we can't. Yeah, I'm
okay.
sorry.
Well, okay. Well, during that time, a lot of these books in the libraries, a lot of the paperback books that are no longer in print about these legends were thrown away. They were pulled, and I've got pictures that libraries were putting up. We were having to throw these books away because it was early in this situation, so nobody knew how the illnesses were spread. And so all these books were being thrown away, and big trash containers full of them. So I'm trying to get them back out there. That's my
Because
plan.
I've been reading the stories about them and stuff, and I'm trying to do my rendition of what I think they would look like, and I d- I don't know why this came up today because it's funny because you're talking about Sasquatch and Bigfoot, and one of the things that reading all the stuff and everything, I was going to do a picture of Bigfoot banging a drum, and the little people were dancing around.
That would make complete sense.
Good,
That would
because
make
that's what I
complete
want to do.
sense. Yeah,
That's what I
because
want to do.
they held him in very high regard. He was also the Thunderbird.
Mm-hmm.
That was another highly cherished creature. It supposedly is what created the uh, Smoky Mountain uh, Trail.
Mm-hmm.
Because their wings would tip down and create the mountains.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was shot down and by the white man, and the Cherokee saved it, nursed it back to health, and then it flew again. But I actually have some footage of some very old pictures of what looks to be a thunderbird. So they may not be as much of a legend. They look a
Right.
lot uh, like a, oh my God, what are those things called?
Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah. This is like a more dinosaur. It's not a
Oh,
tyrannosaurus.
pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl. There it is. I was getting a P and T all in there. I didn't even know how to spell it in my head. Yeah, pterodactyl. Black like a crow, but
Oh wow.
big beak. Very big beak.
So now that you've approved that, that'll be I will start working on that probably after we're done on the show tonight. So,
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be
and
great.
how many pictures did you want me to do for the
I was just
inside?
I was thinking maybe 5. And you know, the
Okay.
cover can be one thing, but then the sketches inside, it doesn't have to be as detailed.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's going to be because
Okay.
I I I don't like doing my minimal, and everybody that knows me, it's going to
Mhm.
be they'll be great for the book. I now that I've got because I'm going. I hope she goes with this one because I was reading about this, and I'm going. It'd be so cool to have Bigfoot standing there beating the drum and the little people dancing around.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Mhm.
That would be
Great.
awesome.
Thanks,
I
Scott.
know Scott. He's an incredible artist. He really is.
Mhm.
I try. Like I say, I'm not bad for an old guy. So
I want to hear more of your stories.
Okay, well, ask me something and I'll answer it with a story.
Let's do your most memorable paranormal experience.
Okay. Um, well, I'm going to answer that with 2 partial stories, okay?
Okay.
okay.
So when I was little, excuse me, when I was little, my grandmother, well, hold on. Let me just hold on. Let me clear the deck and start straight. Okay, here we go. So when I was little, my grandmother told me, now you're getting older, and I expected to see some abilities from you sooner. So that means it's right here. It's on the horizon. And so I was trying to figure out what was she talking about, and I started asking her questions. I was like, "Mama Jenny, what you talking about?" And she said, "Well, let me give you an example. When your mother was little, she had heart problems, and she'd had a couple of heart attacks as a child, and she saw an angel. She saw her angel, and neither one of them would give me detail of what he looked like. And she told me that she had seen an angel during a time when um, she had a very there was no mistaking that Mama Jeannie let me know
Mhm.
early in life that she was abused as a child
Okay.
by alcoholic father and grandfather. So that was rough. And so she was talking about that. And she said, God came to me when I needed him. I feel like the reason why we have these gifts is because we had so much to bear. God wanted to give us a way to survive, kind of like, he's not going to give you more to handle than what you should have,
Yeah.
because he's going to give you what you need to conquer it. And she said, if this is what I needed to go through to feel close to God, I would do it.
Mhm.
I would gladly take on this problem. So I'm not saying you're going to have a lot of bad things happen, but I'm curious as to whether you're going to have these gifts like your great grandma, me, and your mom. No pressure or anything. I was trying to think,
Mhm.
I don't see anything. So I was laying in the bed. See, this it's the reverse peer pressure, because I know a lot of people have had to hide these things because other family members would stomp them out. On the
hmm
flip side, why haven't you? I'm glad you have it, but why haven't you? Because, maybe it's because you
Mhm.
didn't have a hardship like we did, you know? So I was laying in bed. I had chicken pox.
Oh no.
Bad. I had chicken pox on my I have scars on my forehead from them. I had them in my throat. I had one under
Oh,
my eyelid. I had them everywhere, all over me. And to keep me from scratching, my grandma and mom got the Sears catalog out. That's how long ago it was. And I Dream of Jeannie was one of my favorite shows. And they found some pajamas that made me look like a genie. Well,
Wow.
if I was gonna scratch, I couldn't, wear the
Yep.
outfit. So the long
You
pants
had
and
to be
stuff.
good.
I had to be good. So I had on my genie pajamas and I was ready to scratch like crazy. I had all the Benadryl I was supposed to have, calamine lotion all over everything. I looked awful. And my mom had come in with a bunch of homework for me. And I knew I was in big trouble because I was like, oh, Lord, I'm going to be out of school that long, as much as my family makes me go to school, even when I'm sick. I'm going to
Mhm.
die. That's what it is. I'm going to die. So Mama Jenny came over and she had to explain it all to me. Mom was sitting there, babe, you've got chicken pox. We're going to take you to the doctor. The doctor gave me a shot of something. It's something that tasted pink. I don't know what that was. It tasted like the color pink too. I don't know what that
Mhm.
tastes like, but as a kid, that's it. And I had an allergic reaction to it. Now my
Oh,
tongue's swollen, my eyes are swollen, everything's a mess, and I'm dying now. I know it, you know. And my grandma said, "Well, pray God can hear you. It's going to be okay." So I was laying there, and I had a terrible fever. I was miserable. Everything itched, everything hurt. I would cry, and it would burn where the things were. And so I said, God, I don't know that anybody else can see what my mom and grandma and great grandma could see, but I'm just going to invite you now. If that's what you want me to be able to do, I will understand and not freak out. I want to be friends. Just because they don't have skin doesn't make them less of a friend. And I said, and I'm also going to say that, I need some help. I'm scared. Because now here comes more homework that's supposed to last for the whole time I'm going to be out. And I didn't feel like doing homework. I was miserable. I was really miserable. Mom was making fried chicken, and I thought I was going to puke my brains out. I finally just went to sleep. The Benadryl kicked in, and I heard something. Sounded like a bumblebee in a jar. And I looked up, and I didn't see anything. Everything was kind of black, and I couldn't understand why. So I just closed my eyes. I'm like, God, what is this? Is it time for me to die? Is that what it is? And I heard a voice say, I cannot show you what I really look like because you wouldn't be able to tolerate it. It would be too much for your human eyes. I need to come to you in a way you'll be okay. Well, I had been rubbing my eyes and everything. He was like, don't rub. Just listen to me and tell me what you think. Well, my grandma had brought me some Mr. Peanut peanuts and some
Mhm.
Slim Jims and some Hawaiian Punch juice box and by the bed. So I looked over and saw Mr. Peanut Man, and I closed my eyes again, and I could hear a laughter. And oh, you want me to be a peanut? And I was like, no, 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 just I was trying to make it super silly for a kid so I wouldn't freak out. I wanted to see what this was. And I had said, gosh, I've been thinking about this. Mama Jenny told me about this. Here it is. I'm going to run out of the room screaming, right? But I said, no, I'm not going to blow it. So I said, I'd like for you to be in a suit, but the monocle. And he's like, okay, so how do you want me to sound? And I said, like the guys in my grandma's British crime mystery thing, with the British accent or Irish or whatever. And I heard a laugh again, and then I looked up, and it started out like a glitter globe, and then it started moving. And then when he walked forward with, he had on his suit, he had on the top hat, like Mr. Peanut, and he had the monocle, but I could see the detail of his chain. I could see the pocket. I could see the um, threads in his tweed vest that went with his jacket. I could see all of that, and I had all these questions, because I had been thinking about all this. And he sat on the bed, and he said, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to take care of you. Just be quiet." And he put his hands on my chest, but they went through me. And I was so much better the next day. I was still sick, but I was so much better. Well, a couple of days later, it happened again. But I had told Mama Jenny and Mom.
mm-hmm.
They were afraid that it wasn't going to happen again. Maybe it's because I was sick. Maybe I was hallucinating. My dad was involved with that. And they're like, Alan, she's like us. Get over it. But so as it all, kick it. Somebody's trying to come in the door. I can't get the door open. Uh-oh, wait, wait, wait. Uh, All right, that's enough. Yeah, it's my son, and it sounds like he's about to bust in. The door's shut. Oh, wait, let him in. Oh, look at you. I'm on a radio show. My son just came in with his graduation gown on. He graduated
Aw.
May 4th, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
Nice.
I'd let you see him, but he would be embarrassed. You look fantastic. Thank you, sweetheart. Go show Nina. Well, she'll want to see it again. All right. So he came back again. My grandmother was on the phone with my mom, and my mom said she heard it. And when she said bumblebee in a jar, I said, that's exactly what happened to me. That's what I heard too. And Mama Jenny came over and she prompted me for everything. But here's the thing, she was teaching me how to test it. Now you've had a paranormal experience, but you don't know what it is, and I don't know what you will be able to see and understand. These are the questions you need to ask. And I did. So that was my first experience. Now, shoe on the other foot was when my daughter had her first experience. I had $12 to my name, and I want you to know I put that gas in my van, and I ran home to my mama.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, when I was a kid, I was like, I'm all about the challenge. I'm all about the journey and all of that. But when the shoe was on the other foot, I saw the fear that my mom had and my grandma. Is this okay? Is she going to be able to handle this on her own? For me, I was like, I could do it. I could do it. Well, now my 3-year-old, well, she was younger than that. She was still in her little crib. She was, in the little, okay, boys. And she was in her little playpen. And so my daughter was in there and she was reaching up to somebody and she was laughing and she would throw her toys out of the playpen or where I put her on the rug and she had her little play area. She would throw her toys and suddenly they're back with her. I'm cooking, leaning back cooking, trying to see what in the heck was going on. And somebody was bringing her toys back to her.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So the house was haunted, and every time we had a paranormal experience, there would be a joke, like a practical joke. The place was crazy. I can't explain it better than that. A lot of people said, "Oh, it's a prankster, it's a demon." No, it wasn't a demon. I didn't feel that. Mia wasn't afraid of it, and it would, demons can't make themselves look like people. They always have to have something wrong. They mess it up. It wasn't. When my daughter that could not read or write, she was still a baby. When she told me that the entity's name was Kelly with an E, I knew
Wow.
then I'm dealing with something. So that's why I said, please, if you feel like your children have supernatural abilities, please get that book. I don't know if I'm being led to do something with Psychic Kids because right after I finished filming with Repossessed, what's your dream? What would you? It just came out of my mouth. I would love to work with children, and especially the parents,
Oh, wow.
because they have to shield for them. They
Mm-hmm.
can't shield for themselves, and things are going to be drawn to them. Once you're on the supernatural spectrum, I say, in the interdimensional thing, then they're drawn to you. The
Yep.
parents need to know how to protect themselves and their children,
Yeah.
and also how to help them. Does that
Exactly.
make sense?
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
So the only way to make things better so that we continue to evolve in a positive way and learn about what we're here for is to let our children step where we've just been, not behind us. Yeah. They
Right.
don't need to start from square one all over again.
Yep.
We have a
Jeffrey
couple.
said his mother always discouraged that with me no matter how many times it happened.
Jeffrey, I'm so sorry. She was afraid. Your mother was afraid and she didn't know how to nurture you. And she was afraid of society too. And that's a double edged sword. If you have a child that has psychic ability and it comes anywhere close to questioning the standards and belief systems of the people around them, around imagine what it was like with me, because my grandma and my mom would always say, you can't talk about this to the kids at school. You can't talk about this to anybody but us.
Mhm.
You know, they're going to be calling you all kinds of names, and it might turn out really bad for you. So I had to face that with my son and daughter. How are they? I had to be careful who I allowed my kids to play with,
Mhm.
and especially the parents of the kids. I wasn't really so much worried about the children, but I just didn't
Let's
want the
bring
kids saying something.
this question up for you. Um, what was your scariest moment? Web chat not letting me change the name on here. This is Bill from Alaska.
Alaska, oh my gosh, that's on my bucket list. I want to investigate in Alaska. The
Oh yeah,
indigenous
that'd be
people in
cool.
Alaska have a
Mhm.
fascinating spirituality. I I I think that I could do a like a survival thing in Alaska. I do, because I did all those things with my dad. We had a pocket knife. Of course, I wore dingo boots and blue jeans every day. Didn't matter what was happening. I was a tom girl. But yeah, we did all kinds of stuff in the swamp. I would love to do it. Of course, I'm getting kind of old now. I don't know if I'd like to be stomping around in the ice with my ankle, but I'd give it a shot. Even if it's just a couple of days.
Right.
Okay, the scariest thing, guys. This is on my YouTube channel too. I just happened to catch a little bit of it, and you won't know what it is, so I have to tell you first. So, like I said, just Google my name and go to it. But I had a case, and this lady was inseminated. Okay, her family raised her to be satanic. Okay, and I don't mean LaVey stuff. I'm talking real satanic. Okay, the real thing. She was the church voted on this man. He had children, and they knew that there's a certain amount of intelligence, blah blah, and they knew that he was, what's the word I'm looking for? He's able to get a lady pregnant. He has children of his own, and
Hmm.
then
Mhm.
they picked a lady for her intelligence and whatnot, and whatever. And she was on the right cycle, and something had to be right. It was like a blood moon, a full moon, or something. Anyway, it was a ceremonial day, and they were able to conceive. And then there were doctors that were in the church and whatnot, and so she was taken on a special day by C-section, and she was raised to be a red witch. The whole business, the Scarlet Witch, the Scarlet Witch. Well, the name came from somewhere, and so there is such thing as a red witch.
Hmm.
And so she managed to get away from the church, but the church had not let her go. They were still messing with her, and they let her know that she couldn't tell their secrets and all of these things. And she had been raised in it. So when something started to go wrong or whatever, she would start with an animal bloodletting, and she would just go back to what she knew. And they would always show up at her house and freak her out and grab her arms at gas stations. She wouldn't know who they were. They'd come up to her and grab her, and you can't
Oh,
betray
wow.
us and stuff like that. They say people that were drug dealers before, that once you're in that group, they're afraid that you're going to betray them. So you become, what's the word, bound to that.
Mhm.
So that's something to really look at, and that's what happened to her, poor thing. And so she had an investigation request on my website. So I go marching out there to do a preliminary, and I had two of my best investigators with me, and one was my daughter, because she was going to do the research of the property, and she was going around and getting the lady was a school teacher. You know, everything seems so mild mannered, right? I had no idea. When she filled it all out, she was a school teacher. She lived here. It was a really nice neighborhood. She was had these questions, and she had some entities she saw around her baby's crib, and she was concerned for her child. As it turns out, she was raised in the Satanic Church, and she was a red witch, and her kid had claw marks all over its crib. And the child could see these entities and was terrified. It was a whole lot worse than what she told me. Well, we sat down in the middle of the bedroom floor because it seemed like the the most interested area was near the baby's crib. And we had K2 readings all over the place, all over that room, especially in the middle of the floor. And what concerned me, there was no wiring under there. There's no electrical outlets or anything. So what was causing it? And her little dog, little bitty cute dog, little bitty thing. He was all over us, pawing all over us. And I had my camera on it. And then Jimmy said to me, "What was that noise?" And I said, "I heard it too. Who stepped on a twig?" We're sitting on our butts on a shag carpet. Okay. The dog's leg had broken by an unseen force, and it was swinging like that. And the dog didn't feel anything. And I said, "Was that you? Did you do that?" And it said, "Yes, I did," through the ghost box. And he said, "Get out. You're next." Yeah.
Wow.
I got my daughter out of there, got our team out of there. I called Spiritual Warfare Alliance team, Paranormal SWAT. At the time, it was Pastor Leon Wilkes, and he had a helper, and my husband agreed to help. And we had to go through all this training. A lot of it I'd already done, and I had to be accepted by the Catholic Church to be able to do this. And it was a full-on exorcism for the house, her, everything. But the dog, you can hear the crunch. And I think it was "What Do You See?" And the wispy curtains were flying in the air, was blowing, but it had a K2 reading. And a lot of people would say that's probably static electricity. Well, no, it was in the summer, and it was like that all over the room.
Wow.
So that investigation actually put me under the house on my belly crawling to find out what was under that. I don't know why I felt like I had to do it, but if you could see this beautiful little girl, you would be on your belly too, trying to protect her.
Wow.
It ended well. Oh,
I told
look at
you.
this sweet baby. Oh,
I told you it wouldn't be long.
how precious. I love cats. So that was really scary, but I have seen her recently, and she's free. She's not dealing with the evil anymore. She's got another child, and her eldest is absolutely precious, wonderful dancer. She has the lady herself. She's beat cancer.
Awesome.
So yeah, she is divorced, and it was partially to do with all of this, but that's her story to tell, not mine. So. But that was one of my most frightening moments, And I was under the house, and something started to attack me, and I just turned the holy water up and drank it.
There you go.
I did. And it was the saltiest stuff. I didn't know they made salt water out of it. I was like, "Oh my God!" And I want you to know, everything stopped when I just turned it up. Yeah, I knew I was under.
Good to know. Good to know. Always take it with you. In worst case, down it.
Yeah, it was crazy. You should have Leon on sometime.
We can do that, can't we, Rex?
Yep.
He lives out. I know he just moved. He's an MP. He's about to retire from the military, I think. But he was living in Georgia at the time, and now he was living out in the Midwest. But I think I saw where he was moving again. I don't know. But he can still video chat with you guys. You'd love it. He's a great guy. Very knowledgeable. Get him started about pre-Adamites. It'll blow your mind.
Oh, wow.
All right. What?
This hour and a half is flying by.
I talk too much. I'm so sorry.
No, I love it.
Good. I hope you guys are having fun, but I promise you everything I'm telling you is true.
Yeah. Yes.
The funniest thing.
Who want to follow you? Where can they?
Oh, I'm all over the place. I'm on Facebook. I've got the the page, the professional page. And then I've got oh, you'll have to follow me. If you send me a friend request, I can't accept it. I'm at the max. So follow me. I'm on TikTok, but I do a lot of fun with filters. I'm not really myself. I'm trying to be young, with my filters. But also, there's a new platform I'm doing. It's called joshwhotv.com. Josh Who. And if you have a YouTube channel or any other kind of channel like this, you can actually grab your link and drop it. It's free to make your own account, and you can drop it over there. I've got 532,700 subscribers over there. So
Wow.
it's climbing quick over there. I think paranormal's a big thing. So and all the channels are Roku. Also,
Okay.
the owner is working on that. But it's joshwhotv.com. .com. Jeff Dunham's hilarious. Yeah. Have you the comedian? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Okay.
Love him.
If you guys are interested in that, I know the owner of Josh Who TV, and I can connect you if you need it. But it's free. Go and make your own, just like you do YouTube, and you'll get in rotation pretty quick.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's somebody just asked, is that on Josh Who? It's joshwhotv.com. Yeah.
Awesome.
You're such a little star tonight. See, she's got on her rhinestone collar.
I love it. Oh.
Yeah, the only other thing in here is a chameleon and a bearded dragon.
Oh, I love bearded dragons. I used to rescue all kinds of animals. I had 2 king snakes, one named Adam, one named Eve.
At one point, I had 50, believe it or not, bearded dragons.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look, how precious.
That's my berry.
Oh, how beautiful.
He's cool.
If a bearded dragon ever gets like fungus growing under the scales and stuff, it's called, I know that fish do this, but it's called ick, and you can get ick out and apply just a little Q-tip of it, and it'll straighten it out pretty quick. Or at least that was what Dad used to do. There's probably something better now. It's been years ago.
Are you tired? You ready for me to turn the light off?
Sweet.
Here you go.
So, my name Lee Triana. You can just Google me or whatever you do with Yahoo, whatever, and all kinds of stuff will pop up. But that
let go.
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah. Just look me up, and if anybody has any questions for me, or if you want me to investigate, I'm trying to keep it close to the southeast because I do have a regular job. I don't get to do the paranormal all the time like I would love. So
I know we need to win a big lottery, don't we? So we don't have to have normal jobs. Travel.
Well, I love my job, so it's okay. But because I love talking to people and I'm in marketing. But yeah, I know what you mean. I
will get with you with the date that we got, and we'll see if we can try that experiment. Maybe we can videotape it and then bring the results back to everybody.
Oh, I would love that.
Have her on again, Rex?
Absolutely.
I would love to do that. I have it's like a Google Sheets kind of link, and you can fill out the case number and whatnot, and I can send it over to the Rhine Center and send the video footage if you'd like.
Certainly.
Awesome.
I would love to be able to help them with something. Have you ever done any work with remote viewing?
Derek does quite a bit. In fact, just last week he was helping the FBI with a missing persons case.
Oh, tell him I said thank you. I've been helping the Canadian Mounties with a few things, but
thank you too. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's a hard thing, and I'm glad that he's able to help them. What I was going to say is NASA's been using remote viewing for quite some time now, since especially the 80s. Yeah. And I had bought a book, Russell Targ, wrote it. She tried to jump up and she didn't make it. It's okay, baby. So he wrote it, Russell Tark, and it's about he's a physicist and he's looking at psychic ability, especially remote viewing and just psychic ability in general.
Oh, wow.
From his standpoint, and he's been able to draw some pretty incredible conclusions. And he spells out all of the cases that have been declassified by the Pentagon, and he spells out very carefully
Oh, wow.
how much money has been spent on psychic research. By it started out by oh crud, the CIA, and then
Hmm.
it moves from that to NASA. And there's millions of dollars that have been spent using remote viewing to give information to NASA scientists on where to look for different things and what's beyond this and that. So
Awesome,
it's
isn't it?
incredible. I bet your husband would love the book.
I will definitely, yeah, look that up for him.
Yeah.
I bet he will.
After this, I can send you a photo of the book itself. But
Please.
Russell Targ.
Got it.
Targ. It's kind of like Tang, but it's Targ instead of NG.
Okay.
Okay,
Got it.
that's how I remembered it. I have to
Yep.
associate, and it's on Amazon. You can get the paperback or whatever, and it's worth a read. But it will take a minute to get through it because you'll have a wow moment, and then you can go back
Okay.
and read it. Like start over to try to get the most out of it. You can't just read through it. It's not easy. It's
Hmm.
pretty complicated. But do you remember when Iranians invaded the American embassy in the 80s and took all those hostages?
I was I was probably only like in my tens and teens, so yeah,
Yeah,
too long
preteen.
ago.
Rex remembers.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't know how many people were in there. The American government didn't know how many people were in there that were, held captive, who the captors were, what the heck they wanted, what did they have with them to hold them captive? Were they being fed? Are they being tortured? Where are the entrance points to where we can get them out of there? So I think it was 250 remote viewers were called up by the government and given the task of doing these remote viewings, and then all of their stuff together was compiled, and where they found common denominators, they pulled it all together, and for the first time in U.S. government history, actual military documents and orders were being drawn up based off of a psychic's
That's
readings,
awesome.
and it was lots of psychics. Like I said, it was 30 some odd saying this one thing, and 50 some odd saying the same thing. So it wasn't just one person. And
Hmm.
as you know, it turned out pretty good. We got our folks out of there. So,
Yep.
Awesome.
but that's where it started, and it went from the CIA to NASA, and I think they've stopped doing some of that now. But truth is, I think they're still doing it. They just don't want us to know how it's being
Hmm.
routed. Probably with Space Force, if you want to know the truth. Either that or Elon has them. Well, I used to do work with FEMA about
Okay.
weather and storms and stuff, and yeah, it's a incredible feeling, but it's also very humbling. This is
Hmm.
what I feel. Do I feel confident enough to send out a bunch of ships in the ocean to see about this storm?
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
But I
unfortunately, we're out of time.
Oh.
We
I
will have you
hate
back.
that.
I know. We'll have you back.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
hope I haven't talked too much.
No.
No,
You haven't
you
talked
have
enough
been
for us,
fascinating.
sir.
This is like one of my favorite shows we've had.
Oh,
Yes.
yay! I'm so glad. I do want to ask a favor.
Sure.
Can I close the show with a Native American blessing before you guys say, you know, it's time to go and hang up?
Please.
Absolutely.
Okay. I've just got to be able to see it, so I had to put my glasses on. Haha. All right. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
May the sun bring you energy by day, and may the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries. and may the breeze blow new strength into your being, and may you walk gently through the world and know all of its beauty all the days of your life. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you.
It gave me goosebumps. Thank you.
I'm going to end the show like I always do. I want to thank you again, Lee. I'm so honored and blessed to have met you and your mom.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait to see you again. We'll keep in touch. We talk all the time. So
Yeah, we do. We got a lot to do.
I will end the show like I always do. Peace to everybody. And remember, a smile and a hug go a long ways. It doesn't cost you a thing. Please be safe. And as always, we do love you.
Thank you.
you.